Which one of these policies is the reason the Prime Minister is an epic failure?
Carney said it's true, so it must be. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, Mark Carney saying the cost of living is better than we've had it in 10 years. Chronic liar Mark Carney has dethroned Justin Trudeau, taking the podium for the biggest liar in Canada, as Pierre Poilievre sticking it to him in the House of Commons. We got a couple other Conservatives dropping some spicy truth bombs on Carney. He snaps, he doesn't like it, he responds with his typical unbelievable level of arrogance. Let's jump into this. Jumping over to the House of Commons here, Mark Carney finally showing up for work. I suspect he only shows up today and tomorrow, and then he's off to somewhere else again. We're starting off with the French section because it gives context to the English section.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Auditor General denounced the current Justice Minister, as well as the current Liberal Heritage Minister and the current Liberal Immigration Minister. These three ministers caused a catastrophe on the international student file. They allowed 150,000 suspected cases of fraud and didn't even investigate them. The Prime Minister promoted these people who wreaked havoc in the system. Will he continue this liberal incompetence?
Prime Minister.
Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, I am blessed to have a strong cabinet that works hard for Canada strong. The new Canadian government has taken back control of the immigration system.
This is a joke here, and look, they're moving up more people. Who are these people? Nobody knows. These are backbenchers. They moved to the front to make it look like a new government.
Asylum claims are down by a third. International student numbers have gone down 70%. We have Canada strong and a balanced immigration system.
You see that? He put Michael Maw right next to him, just greaseball up in the front.
Meet the new Liberals the same as the old Liberals, Mr. Speaker. The numbers he just gave are compared to the even more miserable numbers of his Justice Minister. In fact, compared to the Harper government, the last sane policy in immigration, we have asylum claims are now up to 2,880%. Temporary foreign workers up 178%, international students up 39%. And yesterday, the Auditor General condemned the current Liberal Justice Minister, Liberal Heritage Minister, and Liberal Immigration Minister for allowing 150,000 cases of fraud to go uninvestigated. Will he fire them, or will he just continue with the same Liberal incompetence?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm blessed with a strong cabinet that's working hard for a strong country.
Hear, hear.
And we are taking control of the immigration system. Asylum seekers down by a third, foreign students down by 60%, temporary foreign workers down by 50%, the population equilibrated, equal. We are investigating 100% of every fraud case since this new government came to office.
Hear, hear.
We have the system under control.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
All an illusion, same old Liberals, same old failures. Look at the economy. He likes to blame world affairs for his failing economy, but the G7 countries have the same world economy. Yet, the Prime Minister has delivered the second highest unemployment in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7, the worst housing costs in the G7, the worst, in fact, the only shrinking economy in the G7. And, Mr. Speaker, we have 100,000 lost jobs in the last 2 months alone. Why is it that after this Prime Minister promised that he'd be the first, he's the worst in the G7?
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, let's take a look at what's happened since this summer. The United States has lost 6,000. Écoute.
Come on.
Whoa.
Please.
Carney's arrogance here. So from what I understand, écoute is listen in French, essentially scolding them like he's the principal or something.
These are important issues we're discussing.
According to Google Translate.
Canadians are watching. The Right Honourable Prime Minister from the top, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's look at what's happened to the United States since the summer. They have lost 6,000 jobs. This country's created over 80,000 jobs since August. Let's look at what's happened to wages in this country. They are growing the highest in years, 4%. They're growing twice the rate of inflation. Canadians are getting ahead. Every single month of this government, Canadian wages have grown faster than the rate of inflation. Rents are at a 33-month low. Affordability is the best it's been in over a decade.
Is he insane? Affordability is the best it's been in a decade? Are you kidding me? Housing prices have doubled or tripled. They've literally tripled in parts of the town I live in. Here they are clapping it up. Brings in his new shiny toy here, Michael Ma, onto the front line.
Maybe for your friend.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I guess for those people who stash their cash in tax havens, you've never had it so good and so affordable. Tell that to the single mothers walking down the grocery aisle. Or let's talk about jobs. He compares it to the United States. When you do an apples-to-apples comparison of unemployment, it is 1.3% higher in Canada than it is in the U.S. In fact, Canada has the second highest unemployment in the G7, the worst grocery price inflation in the G7, the most unaffordable housing in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7. Mr. Speaker, he promised we'd be first, so why is he the worst?
Here, here, here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we have the lowest debt burden in the G7. We have the lowest deficit in the G7. We have the highest credit rating in the G7. What is this government doing? It's putting it into action with a defense industrial strategy that'll bring $500 billion of investment, with an auto strategy, with an electricity strategy, with the climate competitiveness strategy, with a housing strategy. We are moving forward. We're investing in this country, the second best country in the world for foreign direct investment. We are moving forward. Come join us.
Here, here.
He's got a Brookfield strategy is what he has. What do we see dropping here today? Brookfield Renewable Partners announcing they are acquiring Boralex, enters a definitive agreement to be acquired by Brookfield alongside La Caisse, as in Caisse de Depont. CDBQ, the pension fund, the Quebec pension funds. Shareholders receive 37.25% shares, yada yada. Basically, Brookfield is acquiring 70%. Caisse already owned 15% of this company, and they will be getting 30%, says right here. And there's the 15%. We're seeing this on Globe and Mail. Brookfield and Caisse to acquire renewable power Boralex, $3.8 billion. This is a conflict of interest. At this point, I don't think I need to say it, but these are all conflicts of interest. And here it is on Bloomberg. We're excited to partner with La Caisse and accelerate the delivery of Boralex's development pipeline, yada, yada. Now, what exactly does this company do? They're all renewables. They're kind of like Brookfield. They've got wind turbines, more wind turbines. They've got one here, April 1st, 2025, Lime Kiln Wind Farm. This one's in the United Kingdom. They've got solar panels and solar installations. This falls directly within Brookfield and Carney's agenda here. If we keep going at this rate, the conflicts of interest stack here will end up being as big as the actual graph itself. Now, this can be a major conflict in two ways. We don't know if Michael Sabia still holds or has stock or shares in CDBQ. He used to be the CEO of the company up until 2020. But we do know that Carney's chief of staff, Marc-Andre Blanchard, was the executive vice president of CDBQ up until 2025. As in last year, after doing all the digging, I've got it all broken down here. He still has 2 years where he gets on his deferrable compensation package here. The years are listed out here, 23, 2022, 21, etc. You can see roughly around $700,000. And we know this runs for 2 years past when he stepped down, and he stepped down, I believe, sometime in July or middle of last year. So going till 2027, whatever happens with CDPQ benefits the shares of his stocks, his values, is deferred payout, is compensation. This deal here is very good for him because he's still getting paid from CDPQ. This is an entire web of interconnected mess here. I mean, CDPQ, so wrapped up in supply management, we can see right off of their own financials here. CDBQ, this pension fund, Quebec pension fund, is invested in Brookfield Corporation, Brookfield India Real Estate Trust, and Brookfield Infrastructure Corp. So it's in the best interest of CDPQ doing well because you got, well, two guys here, the clerk of the Privy Council and the Mark Carney's chief of staff, who for sure is getting financial benefit from deals like this. Not to mention Carney owning all the shares in Brookfield. It seems Brookfield is the only one making deals in Canada. The majority of the rest of them are leaving Canada. And obviously Carney pushing net zero wind farms, all this is a big conflict of interest for himself.
Strategies and imaginary promises will not pay the bills or fill the tank. We all know that global oil prices have gone up, but that does not explain while in Canadian dollars and in liters, Americans pay $1.46 a liter at the pump, while Canadians are paying $1.70, 26 cents higher per liter at the pump because of this Prime Minister's anti-energy policies and his newly renamed carbon tax, the Clean Fuel Standard. Will he get rid of these policies and get rid of that tax so Canadians can have some relief at the pumps?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I know the member opposite was not here in the spring. It's a source of great sadness.
It is
We
pretty
got
funny,
rid of
actually.
the consumer.
A source of great sadness. What an ugly man. Anytime he can take a jab, he's such a nasty man. You got that comment at the prayer breakfast. We know we got a stoic in the room or whatever. I don't think it's just a vast amount of money that can make someone this ugly of a person.
Carbon tax. That took off 18 cents per liter. That took off 18 cents per liter. And Mr. Speaker, what matters is the rate of growth of wages relative to overall inflation. Wages growing twice the rate. Moving forward.
You hear that? Taking off the carbon tax, remove 18 cents per liter. I thought that was an affordability measure. Remember them telling us that 8 out of 10, we're better off with the carbon tax. These guys lie. That's all they do.
It's all an illusion, Mr. Speaker. This prime minister not only supported the carbon tax that he advised that Justin Trudeau put in, he thought it should be higher and broader. And when he got into power, he didn't get rid of it. He renamed it. He called it the Clean Fuel Standard. 7 cents a liter this year, rising to 17 cents. On top of an industrial carbon tax that's driving up the costs of all the industrial production of our energy. And that is one of the reasons why, under this Liberal Prime Minister, Canadians pay the equivalent of 26 cents a liter more than the Americans. Will he stop ripping off Canadians at the pump, get rid of these Liberal taxes so Canadians can get moving?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we are getting this country moving with the biggest transformation of this economy in generations. We're building unprecedented amounts of affordable housing. We are building clean energy. We are lowering energy costs for Canadians. We are building a defense industrial strategy this country has not seen since the Second World War. We are
He said he's lowering energy. Where? Where's the cost of energy going down? As far as I know, it's over $2 for a liter of gas here. Oh, is that because we have to buy Brookfield's green energy and it's cheaper? But it's not cheaper. It's actually a lot more expensive. This guy's a chronic liar.
protecting Canadians. We are building this economy. We are empowering Canadians.
This is interesting. So the Bloc leader mentions Carney quoting the Bible.
Does the Prime Minister endorse the church-state separation and Quebec secularism?
The Right
Now, if you listen to Carney's response here, he admits the whole stoicism thing was directed right at Poilievre. The arrogance of this guy, he doesn't even seem to care.
And I also quoted from Marcus Aurelius, like the opposition leader, because he came up with some universal principles, virtues, values, examples of virtues, examples of determination, and of course,
Of course, I guess nothing. So jumping ahead here, Conservative John Barlow dropping the hammer on Carney.
Mr. Speaker, we're not talking down the economy. The Liberals are bringing down the economy. But a recent survey showed that 84% of farmers think this Prime Minister is an epic failure. I'm wondering if the Prime Minister could tell me which one of his policies have made farmers so angry. Is it the fact that they're closing 7 research centers and firing hundreds of scientists? Is it because we're the only G7 country with a 35% tariff on fertilizer imports? Is it the fuel standard, the industrial carbon tax, which goes up again on April 1st? Which one of these policies is the reason the Prime Minister is an epic failure?
Exactly right.
Carney's still there. He's there. He's just not going to answer this.
If you would like to talk about farmers and canola farmers specifically, let's talk about how the clean fuel regulations actually help canola farmers. It adds to the value of a bushel of canola. But you know what? The leader of the opposition may want to speak to some of his constituents. He represents the second largest canola producing riding in all of Alberta. And right next to him is a Strathcona renewable diesel facility that's going to purchase about half of Alberta's canola production. That is good for farmers.
Her argument here doesn't hold water. It's a subsidized industry. They regulate it, essentially forcing this biodiesel. She mentioned a biodiesel facility there. In reality, normal diesel costs way less than this renewable diesel, and farmers will switch crops to whatever is profitable. So if it's being regulated and forced down our throats, they'll produce more canola if that's what they can sell. But on top of that, the farmers still have to pay all these carbon taxes. If they got rid of the carbon taxes, the farmers would be better off. And if canola is not as in demand, they'll switch to something else that is profitable. Not to mention, we're talking about one industry. The industrial carbon tax, the clean fuel standard, all this stuff hits all of us. us. It affects everything, all product sectors, all Canadians.
I would like the minister to know that their fuel regulations are so complicated, has made it so expensive that 3/4 of the feedstock comes from the United States or used cooking oil from China, not canola farmers in Alberta. It is the clean fuel standard, the industrial carbon tax, an escalator tax, and tariffs on fertilizer, which are making food unaffordable and farming unsustainable. Will the Liberals realize it is their own policies that are causing these problems? Will they cancel their fuel tax, their industrial carbon tax, their escalator tax, and help make Canadians' life more affordable?
So the escalator tax is the increase on the carbon tax April 1st. It's going up again, along with parliamentarians' paychecks. Carney, I believe, is getting a $19,000 per year pay increase. They just keep making more and more money, but keep ruining Canadians' lives. There has to be a stop to this. There should be only pay increases when the government delivers outstanding results for Canadians. That's it. And if they do a bad job, it should go down. Yeah, it could go down. Believe it or not, we could have it go the opposite way. Our country's so corrupt, that'll never happen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we eliminated the divisive consumer carbon price, and they're still complaining, Mr. Speaker. We know the industrial carbon tax has a negligible effect on food. If that member goes out and buys an F-150 Ford tomorrow from the highest emission contributor of steel and aluminum in this country, I can tell you he can go back to the leader of the opposition and get his triple because it's cheaper than what it's costing us, the GHG emissions. Thank you.
Yeah, this Nick Nanos lookalike here will never answer the question. Even if we were to become net zero, it won't matter because China's emissions completely dwarfs all of Canada, period. These guys keep talking about emissions. We got rid of that carbon tax. What else do they want? Yeah, get rid of all of them. Next up, we've got Conservative Andrew Lawton here, absolutely cooking. This continually escalates. Other Conservatives jump in here. Gets pretty spicy in the House.
Against St. Thomas, London South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No community in this country will be protected from hate with legislation that threatens to imprison them for deeply and sincerely held religious beliefs. But that's precisely what Bill C-9 is going to do, a bill the Liberals are forcing to a vote today, despite the cries of millions of Canadians from multiple faiths and civil society groups that this bill will violate their civil liberties. It may appease some people like the Minister of Identity and Culture, who believes you need a black highlighter to read a holy text. But for most Canadians, they want the freedom to live out their beliefs. Will the Liberals do the right thing and reduce this divisive and toxic bill to the rubble bin where it belongs?
The Honourable
Speaker, one of the member's colleagues from Windsor included in her flyer those same tired talking points, and the Windsor Star spoke to some of her constituents who said that her flyer was divisive and inflammatory, was insulting to their intelligence, and that they were more concerned with the misinformation from the Conservatives than the content of the bill. Bill C-9, the Combating Hate Act, is designed to protect religious freedoms, to ensure people of faith can practice within their community of faith without fear of intimidation or obstruction, and to make sure that we recognize the moral culpability when a person is targeted for a crime on the basis of their identity. That is good policy that will keep Canadians safe.
Honourable member for...
Mr. Speaker, I'm glad the Liberals are getting their money's worth with their media bailout, but that doesn't eliminate the many concerns that Canadians have raised across this country. The Liberals say when these civil liberties concerns are put at their feet to just trust them, that they won't violate charter rights because the charter protects those rights. Yet last week, that very Attorney General appealed the Federal Court of Appeal decision that was ruling the Emergencies Act was unlawful. That this government, despite the promises of Justin Trudeau, did violate the constitutional rights of Canadians. If they truly are serious about protecting these rights, why won't they drop their appeal and drop C-9?
The Honourable
Mr. Speaker, it seems the Conservative strategy when they lose an argument is to blame the media and throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. Let's actually talk.
This is a ridiculous statement, man. I mean, they spend $1.3 billion on CBC in a year. CBC is rarely critical of the Liberals, and if it is, they're a little softball criticisms just to try to make it seem like they're not completely partisan, which they are.
About the facts. Bill C-9, the Combating Hate Act, from inception, was designed to protect religious freedoms, to combat hate crimes that were taking place in this country, to protect the ability of the Jewish community to go to their synagogues and the Muslim community to go to their mosques and Christian communities to go to their churches, to ensure people could pray freely without fear of intimidation or obstruction. We are loud and clear. People are sick and tired of hate crimes in this country, and they want their government to do something about it. The Conservative option is to send out fundraising emails.
Wow. These guys have allowed people to intimidate the Jewish community in the streets, and then they use this as a shield.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Emergency Measures Act has been ruled unlawful by the courts twice. The Liberals violated the charter rights of Canadians by freezing their bank accounts when the threat of a national security threshold was never met. They've wasted millions of dollars of taxpayer money, and now they are appealing this court decision for a third time. With an affordability crisis and a jobs crisis, will the Liberals quit wasting taxpayer monies on something that the courts have ruled twice is unlawful?
The honourable government.
Mr. Speaker, it seems the Conservatives never tire of standing up for the people who illegally occupied the main street of our nation's capital.
Not illegally there. Anyone's allowed to be on the street. This guy's a liar. They're all liars.
Refused to leave, were implored to leave by local residents, by the police, asked politely, would refuse to leave.
What about the Palestinian protesters that were chanting all sorts of hideous things, not only at the Jewish community, but to Justin Trudeau at his office? Remember that one stampede that went across the bridge right to outside his office, surrounded it, not to mention burning the Canadian flag, death to Canada, death to the United States. Police don't step in, police don't do anything, there's no prosecution. Their charges, for the most part, they get dropped, but it's the Canadians protesting the government that's the problem.
City and this capital that Canadians are so proud of. The real question, Mr. Speaker, is why do these Conservatives continue to stand up for the convoy and lawlessness in this country?
These people are unbelievable. They're destroying our country.